Welcome to my new channel. We've got a busy day today. We're gonna test out some gear and make a few things because weekend after next, I'm gonna do my first hammock camp and gonna do a little squirrel hunting, and I'll probably record that too. So hopefully you'll come along on the journey with me. Today, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna refill a green propane tank using the big propane tank, and we'll go ahead and get started on that now. So the first thing you want to do is we're going to hook our filler gadget up to our tank, and then go ahead and open it up, and we need to flip that upside down. That puts the liquid propane at the top of the bottom of the top, where we need it to be. And then we'll screw on our little green canister here. I don't know, I made that sound a lot easier than what it appears to be. There we go. And then we're going to go ahead and hit the switch here, and I don't know if you can hear that, but it's filling the tank up. And as soon as it's done, we're going to disconnect it, and we're going to purge some more of the air out of it, and then reconnect it and continue filling it with propane until our tank is full. And we just depress that little valve in there. Let some of that air so we can fill up with some more propane. And if you just do this once without purging the air out of it, you won't have a full container. All right. And I usually do this purging process 6 or 8 times. You can hear that liquid propane in there now. All right. Certainly wouldn't want it to cooperate now, would we? All right. And you can hear it filling. And as soon as that pressure equalizes, we will disconnect our little green bottle and continue the same process. There we go. Feels like it might be about a quarter way full now. It's these really aren't that expensive. I usually get them at Royal King, 2 for $99 or 2 for $9.99. Easy for me to say. Well, I promise I've done this before. It's just not cooperating with me. There we go. We hear that pressure equalizing again. And we'll continue this probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 more times, or at least until we get it filled. I don't know why this bottle is so against working with me. Well, the good thing about this is I get to learn how to edit here in a little while. I can cut all this just listening to me breathe and watching me mess up. Although that might be part of the fun, right? Which I'll watch the old guy make it forward. Might be about halfway now. Maybe by the time we get this bottle full, I'll figure out how to screw it on there one time. There we go. All right. Hey, we might be just about there. All right. There we we go. Outstanding. So that's how we do that. And what we're going to do later on is we're going to use this bottle in a little camp stove, and we're going to melt down some wax and make some fire starting tinder. So we'll be right back with it. All right, next thing we're going to do is we're going to melt some wax and take these cotton pads. They're makeup removal pads. Don't tell my wife I stole them from her. But the wax I'm using, she burns those little wax smelly things, and she collects her wax for me, and that's what we're gonna use to mix with some lighter fluid and dip our cotton rounds into. Let's go ahead and get this thing started. Whew. Maybe not. Okay, so we're not going to do that today. We'll be back with something later. Well, after the near catastrophic failure of my little camp stove there, we're going to test out two little twig stoves that I have. I've never actually used them before. I was addicted to Temu for a few minutes, and they were super cheap, and so we're gonna give those a try, and maybe we can melt some wax with one of those. And I got a couple coffee makers I'm gonna try out also. So let's see how that goes. Now, as soon as the noisy traffic gets by, gotta love that, right? So our first one is this little thing here. We'll see how this works out. It looks a little ridiculous, but I actually did try this one out once. And it didn't go real well. There we go. I guess this should be all right for boiling water, or maybe what we need it for here in a few minutes. Now the other one I got is a portable backpacking grill. Now the one that I had seen somebody else before use, theirs was a little bit bigger than this one. But we're going to work with what we got. I don't buy cheap stuff because I want to. I buy the cheap stuff because I have to. I think I paid something like $3 or $4 for this thing off of Temu. There we go. Almost. In case you haven't noticed, I am not a trained professional. Alright, and there's two little slunts match up there at the bottom. And it's kind of cute. Alright, now I also want to test out a couple of saws that I got. I got a little bow saw, and I have a folding saw. The folding saw I've used quite a bit. The little bow saw is a lot lighter, so we're going to cut up some wood here. See if we can get these things lit and test them out. Be right back. Alright, this is my folding saw here. Like I said, I use it quite a bit. It's a Fiskars. A buddy of mine gave this to me, and I actually use it quite a bit. Now this one, I think I paid $4 or $5 for it. Of course, it's another one of those Temu purchases. And it looks much larger in the picture, right? But we're going to go ahead and try that thing out. And we want to cut our sticks down to fit into our little tabletop grill. So go ahead and make that measurement. Let's see if I can hit my femoral artery and bleed out on camera. Yeah, if I did that, at least I'd make the news, right? All right, those are perfect. Now let's give this little guy a try. Actually doesn't do too bad. I'm not going to be building a house with it or anything, but for cutting little sticks up for our debris stoves, it's not terrible. I'm thinking we're going to stick with old reliable here. This thing here just has way too much flex in it. And it's kind of pointless to cut little stuff like this, all you gotta do is that. And that one might be a little stouter than I thought it was gonna be. My wife just let the puppies out. So maybe they'll come get Frame and we can say hello to them and introduce them to the world, huh? Yeah. I'm going to call this one here a massive fail. Maybe I can get $1 or something out of it at a yard sale. Make it somebody else's problem. Right, let me get this cut up and we'll give these grills a shot. All right, Bodie's come over here to say hi. Say hi to everybody, Bodie. Now, this is my fire kit that I carry with me. It's in a waterproof container. I have Gorilla Tape on the outside of it. And I keep Vaseline and cotton balls. And this is what I was attempting to make earlier. This is the finished product right here. These work great. You can use a ferrocerium rod, or I tend to just use a lighter. But it's always good to practice with your ferrocerium rod. Or if you're really hardcore, you are flint and steel. All right, let's. It starts out pretty quick. All right, let's go grab our other grill. We might as well get it started. All right, we got the fire started. Once we get these burning pretty good, we can hopefully boil some water to make some coffee and test out these two coffee makers. And Bodie's coming back to say hi. What you doing, buddy? Now, this video is being recorded now, and I'm going to use it for practicing how to edit. So, maybe we'll do the edited version, and then you like and comment if you want to see the original version with all my mistakes and ands and ums and dogs getting in the frame. What are you doing, buddy? But maybe I should have tested this out in the woods where I'd actually had some twigs. I just have some smaller pieces of wood that we cut off of a cherry tree that fell down last winter. Actually, it fell down because of Helene. Helene blew it over, which we're pretty fortunate. We lost one tree and a couple shingles. It could have been much, much worse. Well, once I get this figured out, we'll come back. All right. Well, so basically what happened is everything went out and I had to start all over again. I started and I was like, well, let's show it what's now, I guess. Failures and successes, right? So, take two. I did baton some of these small pieces into smaller pieces. So we'll see if that doesn't catch a little bit better. Guess that's why it's a good idea to test things out at home. Because if you're 5 miles into the woods and things go south, you're 5 miles in the woods. Whereas if things aren't working out at home, you just kind of back up a little bit and reassess, and you're not going to die from exposure. So, I guess that's a good thing that we're testing it here. I think that's catching a little bit better. we go. See if we can get the grill going here. Ouch. All right, maybe we'll baton some more of this down into smaller pieces. Oof. Well, the debris stove is working pretty decent now. The tabletop grill is coming along. Wow. Guess I could use my pocket blows. All right. Riveting television, right? See if I can get up without burning myself here. All right. This wood must be wet. There, it's finally taken off. Oh, bugger. Well, the debris stuff I can't keep wet, so guess we'll continue with the tabletop grill. Shoo. One successful failure after another. There we go. Hey, that's warm. Yeah, let's see if we can get this water to boil. I think I'm going to try this out actually in the woods where I can find some real twigs. The neighbor's cows are coming up to say hello. Guys, quit. We'll be back. Maybe. Alrighty. Well, we finally got the fire going. Now we're going to try out our coffee makers here. Hi, guys. The other one is a filter. So let's see if we can rig this up to fit in there. I think that'll work. That only took an hour. Traffic's awful heavy on this road today. Usually there's like 20 vehicles a day that comes through here. Kind of out in the middle of nowhere, so. Well, so what's your favorite brand of coffee? Let me know in the comments there. I myself, I'm a Black Rifle Coffee Cactus Squatch kind of guy. Or Maxwell House or Folgers, whichever one's cheaper. I think the pro of this one is that I'm not going to have to carry any extra filters with me. The con of it is I'm going to have to clean it every time I use it. All right, let's see how this turned out. Looks good. Smells like coffee. Mm, tastes like coffee. Now let's give this thing here a try. The hole's going to match up there. This thermos my granddaughter got me for Christmas a couple years ago. She said it was the perfect size for me to take camping and hunting with me. She wasn't wrong. My coffee is actually pretty good. Well, I guess go ahead and drink my coffee here. And I think I've made my decisions on what gear I'm going to use. This one here folds up flat, but again, you got a filter to get rid of. This one doesn't take up any room hardly at all, but you got to clean it out every time you use it. Which doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Most of the coffee come out of there. I think this is going to be my winner. What do you think, Madge? Think we should take this one? I think I'm going to save this one for in my truck. And this one go in the backpack. All right, I think that's all for today. I appreciate y'all watching, and I'm gonna go edit this and post my first video ever on YouTube. Catch you later. Always try to be a blessing to somebody. Be the reason somebody's having a good day. We'll catch you next time.